A big question we get around here at the Small Hands Fund is, why should I invest in social change when I can just donate? A lot of times organizations ask us, why should we take a chance putting out investments for people to buy when we're struggling to get donations? Donating to charity is a wonderful thing. Certainly we do not want to discourage people from donating to their favorite causes. But the attitude of a donor and the attitude of an investor are completely different, and we feel that nonprofits have a lot to gain from cultivating both. Let's say you just gave $500 to help feed the poor. You feel great. You spend the whole day feeling so proud of yourself and your generosity. That is until you come home to find a $2,000 credit card bill, a $500 heating bill, $100 in charges from your cell phone, and your landlord tapping his foot impatiently about the rent. Suddenly you've gone from feeling like you've contributed to building a better world to wondering who's going to donate $500 to feed you. Donations are great, but ultimately we look at them as expenses to add to a growing pile of expenses. Now let's say instead of donating that $500, you went out and you bought an investment note. The money gets lent to organizations that feed the poor, and when they pay back the loan, you get your original $500 back, plus some interest. Investors behave differently than donors because investors believe that the money they have in investments is still theirs. It's not an expense. So investors who are happy with their investments will keep pumping money into the system regardless of their individual income. Donors, on the other hand, sometimes lose sight of the good they're doing the second real-life expenses come along. Investing offers nonprofits access to sustainable, stable capital to handle administrative expenses and grow smartly. This is a rare commodity in the world of nonprofits because donors are so obsessed with getting the most impact for their money. You want your $500 to make the biggest difference it can, and why not? You've worked hard for that money, and now instead of paying your bills, you're giving it to charity. You want it to be worth it. Well, the Billion Dollar Foundation wants their $50,000 grant to make the biggest difference it can too. So does the millionaire who just wrote out a $10,000 check. Too often, multi-million-dollar programs are being run by offices with unrestricted cash flows of barely over $100,000, and this isn't good for anyone. At the same time, donations are a vital part of the nonprofit world precisely because it's money the organization doesn't have to pay back. Since there's no repayment, organizations can use the funding to test new programs and techniques without anxiety. Donations, grants, and major gifts are very good ways to fund programs, but very bad ways to fund organizations. Here at the Small Hands Fund, we do not believe the answer is converting all our nonprofits to investment-happy for-profits, but we do believe that there is considerable benefit in using investment as the natural complement to donations. Investments enhance the nonprofit sector in two very important ways. One, they make stable growth capital available. And two, they bring people who otherwise could not afford to be contributors to the nonprofit sector. I can't afford to be a philanthropist, and you probably can't afford to be a philanthropist either, but we can both afford to be investors.